Ta-da! All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the end of spring and the beginning of summer. So Thursday is the summer Chinode begins. But that means we're still kind of in the end of grain rains. Go ahead. Turn your volume? I can't turn the volume up that you hear.
You can do it.
You have to do it from your side.
There's a knob over there.
There should be one on the TV and one on the video conference unit. So if the TV is all the way up, the video conference unit may not be. If the video conference unit's all the way up, the TV may not be.
I don't know, there's only one volume thing.
Right.
I don't see the one with the 4 green dots. Oh, look. Oh.
Yay.
It's done.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Whoa.
1, 2, 3.
This is great. I can't turn the volume up that you. So cool.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Laying on it. Sorry.
Oh, all the entertainment of technology. Okay. So grain rains, I read up on it, the rain is feeding the grain. So that is the purpose of grain rains, is the rains are actually purposeful to feed the grain. And that's how that's actually working. And then today's reading, openness.
And resources.
And then yesterday was resources. So we're moving to the external sense of things. All the things that are now going to be more interactive and reactive is all on the outside of the body. The way that we look, how we take care of ourselves, how we interact with others, and how we're interacting with what I call the timeline or our timeline. And that has to do with our goals and our focus and our direction and all that kind of stuff. So even if you're not really a goal keeper or somebody that tries to, make sure you take a step to achieve something every day, we know that we do. We know that everything we do accomplishes things and moves us somewhere along our timeline. So I tend to use timeline more commonly than just goal keeping. And so with that, we're seeing readings that are now looking at, if you're having trouble doing something in life or getting something or achieving a job or any of those kinds of things, then we need to look on the outside. How am I doing it? How am I interfacing with others? How am I reacting to those changes that come to me or come to my situation? Will Beatty all the way to the Dalai Lama and or some of the other spiritual leaders and or business leaders have always been known to say that when you have a goal, you can't just set that goal and say this is how it's going to go. What they say is that you've got a meaning to your goal. The meaning you should keep. The goal itself, you may need to sacrifice. You may need to let go of the idea of this goal in order to get to the actual meaning of the goal. Right? Does that make some sense to people? Right? So the idea comes along that I want to do something and I think I have to do this step before I can make that goal. And when I get to that step, I realize that's not going to get me there. That's going to get me. I have to let go of this path now, and I have to move over here and use this path now. And if we are open to recognizing that what I'm thinking is going to happen isn't what's going to happen, then I'm open to make a change. Well, that's not the opportunity that's going to get me there. That's the opportunity that's going to get me there. And so we have to be that flexible character. We have to be open to interpreting what our own desire is in order to achieve it. A lot of people do have perfect goal-setting plans. They overthink everything and come up with some wonderful idea, and they can kind of make it work, but most of the time they're forcing through. You know, they're spending a whole lot of money, or they're spending a whole lot of favors, or they're getting a lot of people trying to make something happen, when in reality, if we're planning to do something and it's true, then the opportunities will appear to us, and we just need to follow the opportunities. We don't have to force what we think is going to happen into what we happen, or into what's going to happen. And that's why I included yesterday's reading. Because when we're thinking we are going to get someplace and it's just not happening, then we should look in the mirror and see what's the cause and what's the resolution, right? But I have to be, today's reading, I have to be open and willing to let go of my preconceptions of what my predestination is in order to actually move forward. Now that I've confused everybody, let's say, was there any questions on that? Any thoughts on that? Okay. Because we're really moving into summer, and pretty soon it's just going to be flying along quite rapidly. Yes, it is. Some of you may have noticed, especially the last week. The last week there's been a lot of charge, a lot of energy charge, a lot of sudden heart palpitations or excitement over things. And that's primarily for the full moon. We had a full moon last night, yesterday. And there was a lot of what that energy charge is, and that energy charge will start tapering back off again. So those of us that are becoming more aware of those things will start recognizing those cycles as being always there. You can kind of rely on them. So when something comes up and you need to have a little bit more energy or spontaneity, do it around a full moon. Be surprised. Okay. So the movement, so the energy, the chi, the way that movements are happening seem to be coming more out to the surface. We feel it on the surface of the skin. We feel it in the brow and in the forehead instead of inside. And so when we move and we talk about the intention of moving and we talk about the intention of action, we start seeing it actually happening more without us having to really be focused on it. In the wintertime, we almost had to think about, okay, well, I want to make sure I do this, and then I want to do this, and then I want to, and now we kind of go, okay, we're going to do that. Okay, good. And we just pop right into it, right? The energy is really, really there, and the intention is almost in the background. We almost don't even feel the intention anymore, but we can still see the intention and we can act on the intention. Breath right now, the way that breath ties in, is we really have to calm the breath down, especially during the full moon. It was quite exciting. And so when we think about the intention, we want to first intend ourselves to relax. And so if we relax the body first and calm everything down and try and relax and let go of the external body so that we can take a couple of breaths and connect to our intention, we can feel a clearing on the skin. We can actually feel a relaxing in the body's outer senses, all of the feelings, all of the nerve endings, the hair, everything on the external part of the body. So a couple of breaths, and then I can feel the bottom of my feet again. I can feel my head starting to clear. I can feel my muscles starting to relax, so I can just kind of hang here and be part of the breath instead of part of this rushing energy that's moving all around. So once I get that sensation that I'm reconnecting back to my actual intention and to my actual breath, now when I make my movements, they're not jumpy. They're not crass. They're not filled with all this anticipation of energy, which is the summer. Good. Did that help? Does that suddenly make you realize you're sitting down? And that you're actually here and not on the way to something else. I'm ready to go. Right? We want to kind of feel the difference, so we recognize that connection and try to manage that energy that's flowing around out there and trying to get you agitated, try to get you moving. It's like, it's okay. It's okay. The body will tell you, right? Not that surface energy that's buzzing. The body will tell you. So when you get that couple of breaths and you settle down the body, then you recognize yeah, I really should get out of bed. Yeah, I really should go work the yard. Yeah, right? It slows you down a little bit so you can say, that's what I really need to be doing, and not just following this stirring energy that says, oh, I got to go do something, and then you don't know what it is. You get out there and spin around in circles for a while wondering what it is. Does that make sense? Is everybody getting that okay? All right. So with that, we're going to do more of the moving gong and a little less of the Tai Chi today, because that moving gong really tries to focus us into us instead of the Tai Chi, which all of you are still learning, and it's kind of like, what's this? My hand's supposed to be, So you kind of get that character going on, and we want to take that step back right now and kind of connect. So go ahead and stand up. Get in the standing position, or remain seated if you're in a seated kind of condition. So of course, very important to bend the knees and relax the feet and let them kind of spread out on the ground so that you can feel your entire foot flat on the ground, and then grip lightly with the toes. Tuck the abdomen in slightly, curve the hips so that you can feel like you're kind of sitting down on the edge of a stool. Lift the chest up and tuck in the chin. Rest the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, just behind the front teeth. Relax the arms to the sides with the palms facing each other. Let your breath become long and smooth. And then bend the elbows and pull them out and back slightly to round the arms and open the chest. And we'll start with 3 gates gong, so roll the feet to the outside as you lift up and open the chest. And an exhale and slowly roll the feet in. Bring the arms in, tuck the hips in slightly. And again, open, lift up. And exhale down. One more. Inhale, rise up. And exhale down. Think about the bottoms of the feet. Think about where they are connected to the ground and how they're feeling inside or outside. So first moving gong, roll back, inhale, open, and forward. And 2. Three. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2nd moving gong. Spread the feet a little wider and turn the feet out. Follow the knees. Sink down to the lower position and bring the hands to the dantian. Rise up and out. 1. Two, 3, 4, reverse directions. 1, 2, 3, 'And we're going to do some turning the prayer wheel today. So start with the hands out. And we're just going to make that circle kind of down and then in and up and back out again. And exhale and sink down. And then inhale and rise up. So and then return to the middle position. The hands come out in front, holding the big tree. And just take a couple of breaths. Think about the bottom of the feet. Let all the energy sink down through the legs, down to the bubbling spring points at the bottom of the feet. And then relax the hands down and stand up. Good. Bring the feet together. And so all we want to do is kind of roll the feet around without using the knees and the hips too much. We just kind of want to roll the feet across the toes, back the heels, back to the toes, back to the heels. So kind of front, back, side to side, just like the Qigong exercises. And then go in the other direction. And then bend the legs and do the same thing with the knees. Just little circles. And in the opposite direction. Good, and then up to the hips. I want to try and keep the back still over the hips, and so the hips are only moving the legs. The body is following the hips, but it's not rolling. And opposite direction. Good, and then spread the feet a little bit, bend the knees, and try and hold the hips still, and we're just going to rotate the chest. And then in the opposite direction. And then the shoulders, we're going to roll the shoulders back. And then roll them forward. Good. And then the elbows and the wrists. In both directions. Good, and that kind of leads us to that silk reeling ideas, right? We want to get the body to kind of move the arms as if they were silk. I don't want to spend a lot of time thinking about making my hands do it. I want my body to kind of make my hands do it, or make my arms and my hands do it, right? So kind of get that dishwash feel or laundry washing feel, and just let it nice and relax. Good? So last thing we want to do is the neck. So we want to turn the head slightly to one side and tilt it. We want to feel this in the trapezius, down the top of the neck and down the back slightly. And just try either side, see if either side is tighter or stiffer than the other. Good. And then turn the head to the shoulder. And then to the other side. And back again. And the other side. And one more. Other side. Good. And then the do chi exercise, kind of loosen everything up, let everything kind of wobble around a little bit, and then drop it down, and then the middle, and then up high. Good. All right. How's that feel? All right. How's that feel? Good? That's right. A personal massage. How much time do we have left? Huh? Oh, okay. Well, I think that's all we have. Is there any questions on any of the exercises? Any thoughts? Oh, okay. Well, we're going to do the closing exercise, Qigong. Start in the standard standing position. Take a breath and let the feet sink into the ground slightly. And turn the palms out. Inhale, rise up and gather all the universal chi. So. And when you're ready, again. And when you're ready, one more. All right. Any last thoughts or questions? No? Thank you for coming. Enjoy the day, enjoy the week. And